Now at 10, Joplin residents start the new year off in Wildcat Glades Park. Plus, Pittsburgh's YMCA challenges you to swim to Tennessee. And Missouri State Parks host first day hikes. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Amber Jenkins. State parks across Missouri hosted first day hikes today. This video is from a hike at the Big Sugar Creek State Park that's down in McDonald County. Roughly a dozen people learned about the wide variety of animals and plant species in the park. Roaring River State Park and Cassville and Perry State Park in Minnemines also host first day hikes today. Some Joplin residents got to start the new year with a nature walk at Wildcat Glades Park. KOAM Giannis Hatala has more on the event with words from participants and naturalists involved.
I get really distracted by birds.
Some Joplin residents started the new year walking on trails at Wildcat Glades Park.
Nature is good for you anyway, so starting the year off by coming out whether it's cold, obviously today is a little bit warmer, so that's nice, but puts you in the right state of mind to start off the year on a good note.
Hikers got to enjoy great weather on this year's annual hike.
Mostly we're going to be looking for and listening for birds and honestly just enjoying the walk. It's not going to be super structured. We're not going to be specifically looking for anything, just enjoying nature. I think that's important as much as it is to identify things that are out.
Naturalists with Wildcat Glades traverse the paths while collecting trash and talking about the local ecosystem. Jackson says it's important to realize how much trash ends up in the nature, regardless how much they clean up.
Wildcat Glades removed, I think, 3.5 tons of trash from this area out here. So I think understanding that we work really hard to keep these natural areas clean is something I definitely want people to take away, and also to realize that just because it's winter, that doesn't mean that nothing is active and out.
Resident Kathy Stwally says she is used to collecting trash on her walks at home.
You open your car door and there goes your empty water bottle. So you have to be pretty, careful about your refuse. When you're rafting, you have a candy bar and you try to stuff it in your pocket, and so I think a lot of it's just by accident, but then some people just don't care. They just miss the trash can. And
Stwally joined the walk with her husband.
Well, I learned something today, that you do not collect feathers. I didn't know that. I thought it was for certain birds, but it's for all birds.
We have this really special area out here, so I think if people can come out and realize how special it is and just enjoy the trails that we have.
In Joplin, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
The hike gathered about 10 participants. The Pittsburgh YMCA is starting its Destination Swim Challenge. The challenge consists of swimming 435 miles to Memphis, Tennessee. Every mile swam is equivalent to 10 miles towards your destination. This challenge is for swimmers and non-swimmers, as it's another way to keep your body healthy.
So I think the main goal for this promotion is kind of to get more people involved with the Y, and more involved with swimming especially, because that's one of our areas that sometimes can get neglected more, because the fact you think, like I said, you think of gyms as fitness facilities, basketball courts, racquetballs. You don't think of necessarily as the pool all the time, which we have. Our indoor pool is open, and every day that we're open, it will be open unless told otherwise.
The event began today at 12 p.m. to kick off a healthy new year. Meteorologist Chloe Arroyo joins us with a first look at weather.
Yeah, we're going to see some severe weather tomorrow. We'll have a glimpse of springtime tomorrow. We have an enhanced risk for severe weather, which is a 3 out of 5 on that severity scale. A little further south in Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, and even portions of Oklahoma. But looking at our viewing area specifically, we're in that green zone, which is a marginal risk, which is a little bit less severe than the brunt of it, what we'll be seeing. But as you head further south, you'll see that slight risk in that yellow zone. We have a chance for all modes of severe weather, including flooding. Let's take a look at this chance for some flooding. We'll have some localized areas that are more so than others. Now, coming up here in a bit, I'll talk about the timeline specifically on this severe weather, when we'll see those January temperatures, and maybe some freezing temps ahead coming up in a bit.
3 NYP officers attacked with a machete near Times Square are on the road to recovery. One of the officers was working his first shift on the job before the machete attack. CBS Christina Fan has more.
As the world waited for the ball to drop in Times Square New Year's Eve, chaos broke out just blocks away. Officials say a 19-year-old armed with a machete swung at an officer outside a security screening zone, then went after 2 others.
One officer, an 8-year veteran, suffered a laceration to the head. The second officer, who graduated the police academy on Friday, was also struck in the head, resulting in a skull fracture and large laceration.
The attack happened just after 10 p.m. at West 52nd Street and 8th Avenue. One of the officers under attack fired their service weapon, hitting the suspect in the shoulder. At a press conference overnight, the mayor praised the NYPD's actions.
And we're really pleased by the response and how our officers handled this situation. All 3 of the officers are in stable conditions, and there are no credible threats to New Yorkers at this time.
The FBI, NYPD, and Joint Terrorism Task Force are now investigating to determine the motive behind the attack. Officials vowed to run every lead to the ground.
There is no ongoing threat. We believe this was a sole individual at this time. There's nothing to indicate otherwise.
Police have not yet released the suspect's identity or what charges he may face. Again, all 3 officers are in stable condition. Coming up, a legendary lawmaker retires. Plus, a New Year's Eve shooting in Mobile, Alabama left 1 dead and 9 injured. Police in Mobile, Alabama say 1 person was killed and 9 hurt in a shooting a few blocks away from where thousands were in the streets for a New Year's Eve party in downtown Mobile. Neither name of the person killed nor the conditions of the 9 people taken to the hospital have been released by police. The shooting happened a few blocks away from the main stage for Moon Pie Over Mobile Festival. The event continued on with fireworks and moon pie dropping from a downtown building at midnight to mark the start of 2023. Mobile Police Chief Paul Preen told reporters near the scene that the shooter and the person killed appeared to have known each other.
Obviously multiple shots rang out. We can certainly tell you that. I've got 1 deceased individual and 9 other individuals that have been shot by gunfire who are at the local hospitals being treated. The perpetrators and at least the deceased may have been known to one another, and so I think that would give some comfort to all of us downtown that this was not just a random shooting where a person lost their life.
On the first day of 2023, Pope Francis prayed for priests and in Ukraine around the world during Mass at the Vatican. A new Congress will be sworn in this week, with Republicans taking control of the House as the Biden administration works to strengthen the economy and curb inflation. CBS News correspondent Kristen Benavides has more from Miami.
On New Year's Day, Pope Francis focused on global peace during his Mass at the Vatican, praying for an end to the conflict in Ukraine and other war-torn regions. But just an hour into 2023, air raids, sirens, and explosions were heard across Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky said in his New Year message that his only wish for all Ukrainians this year is victory in the face of the Russian invasion.
I think in 2023, we're likely to see minimal Russian gains on the military battlefield, but more of Putin's spoiler campaign, where he's using missiles and drones to take out civilian infrastructure, target electricity, target water supplies, really trying to break the will of the Ukrainian people.
Financial and military assistance to Kyiv could face challenges after Republicans take control of the House with a narrow majority in the new session of Congress beginning this week. The Biden administration is still dealing with high inflation and concerns that interest rate hikes to combat it could hurt the economy.
3 big economies, US, EU, China, are all slowing down simultaneously. The US is most resilient. The US may avoid a recession. We see the labor market remaining quite strong.
Also on Tuesday, the House is expected to vote on a new speaker. California Representative Kevin McCarthy is hoping to secure enough support to take the position. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
On Friday, the government releases the December employment report, which is expected to show the recent impact of the Federal Reserve's rate hikes on the labor market. A new year brings a political sea change in Washington, D.C. A new Congress will be sworn in. Republicans will take control of the U.S. House and dozens of lawmakers will depart, among them a man who arrived as a 1960s activist. CBS Scott McFarland has more.
How you doing?
Fantastic.
Good to see you.
A Chicago political legend, Bobby Rush held firm control of a seat in the U.S. House for 30 years.
The subcommittee on energy will now come to order.
With a backstory unlike any other. In the 60s, he co-founded the Illinois chapter of the Black Panthers and says he was supposed to be in an apartment police raided in 1969, in which fellow members of the group were shot and killed by police. Once in Congress, he made a mark legislating, but also by protesting, including breaking U.S. House rules by donning a hoodie on the floor of the House after the shooting of Trayvon Martin.
Just because someone wears a hoodie does not make them a hoodlum.
In his final months in office, Rush has secured passage of a landmark anti-lynching law, strengthening prosecutors' ability to charge hate crimes, and named it after Emmett Till, the 14-year-old Chicago boy kidnapped and tortured in 1950s Mississippi.
It made a statement that justice delayed is not justice denied.
And just last week, he secured the votes to posthumously award a congressional gold medal to Till and Till's mother.
This is one of the highest honors, and it's fitting for both my cousin Emmett and my shero, Mamie Till Mobley.
He survived a fight against cancer 15 years ago, which impacted his speech, but didn't slow him. At 76 years old, Rush acknowledges he is ready to step back now.
It is time for a new chapter, the next chapter in my life.
Rush will continue as a pastor at his Southside Chicago church and departs with a distinction no one will match. In 2000, in a primary election for his Chicago U.S. House seat, he defeated his upstart challenger, Barack Obama.
I got whooped.
Still the only election Obama ever lost.
I might have some bragging rights, but he has everything else.
Bobby Rush is part of a wave of hundreds of retirements from the Capitol over the past few elections, which means come Tuesday there'll only be about a dozen members of Congress who've been here as long as Bobby Rush was, since 1993. Scott McFarland, CBS News, the Capitol.
After a year of spiking gasoline prices, the cost of fuel is expected to fall. The app Gas Buddy has released projections that indicate gas prices will drop early this year, declining by nearly 50 cents a gallon. This month and next month, gasoline is expected to cost an average of $3 a gallon. But when the summer travel season arrives, gas is forecast to hit $4 a gallon, then drop after the vacation season ends. A little later, we'll take a look at the survey on how well people thought 2022 went and predictions for 2023.
Severe weather coming up. I'll have the full rundown here in a bit. We had very, very below average temperatures. We had some winter conditions. Then we hopped into the summer temperatures. Now we're in spring with a chance for severe weather tomorrow. First, let's take a live look at Indigo Sky and Casino. There's a little bit of increasing fog right now. That's because those dew points are increasing, but above all, we're very calm right now. Not going to be the case tomorrow. I'll talk about that here in just a second. Temperatures right now are in the upper 40s to lower 50s. Miami 49. Grove sitting at 50 and Iola up at 46 right now. Pretty above average for this time of year. That's not going to last much longer though. You can see out further west we have this line of cooler air and that's going to push into our viewing area. But right now all that's giving us the air right now is the air coming from the Gulf of Mexico, which is bringing us some warmer temps. Now when those cooler dry temperatures and the warmer moist air from the Gulf, when those two intersect, we get some severe weather, and here, sure enough, we have an enhanced risk for severe weather, especially a little further south in Louisiana, Texas, and portions of Arkansas and Oklahoma as well. But taking a little bit of a closer look in our viewing area, we're in a marginal risk, which is about 1 out of 5 on that severity scale. But as you head further south, we'll have a little bit more of an elevated risk. Now we're talking about moderate risk for heavy winds, large hail, and even some heavy rain and flooding. Here and there, that tornado risk is a little bit on the lower side, but what we're concerned about possibly the most is that localized flooding. Now here's a little bit of a look for that projected flooding. Here tomorrow and into tomorrow night, just because it's very widespread. This chance for severe weather is anywhere from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. So that's a lot of rain in the span of 12 hours. But here's our future track. We'll be looking at some above average temperatures in the upper 50s in the morning. That'll start to reach into our area. We'll see some precipitation around 3 or 4 p.m. And then as we head into rush hour, that's when we'll see that most significant chance for severe weather that'll push out of our area further east and clear us out by 3 a.m. early Tuesday morning. But that cold front's going to come with it, and our highs are only going to reach up into the lower 50s as we head into Tuesday. And then Wednesday morning, we'll see a chance for some below freezing temperatures, even up to the upper 20s for the majority of northeastern Oklahoma. Now for tomorrow, we'll see some warmer temperatures, 59 by 7 a.m. Our high tomorrow is going to be about 66, and then we'll see those cooler temperatures. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. We'll have temperatures pretty seasonable for this time of year. 39 for your high on Friday. That'll be the coolest day of the week, and then we'll head into the weekend with some partly cloudy skies on Sunday with a high of 48.
Well, just when you need another reason to not be excited for Mondays, we got that storm coming for us, but we'll manage as usual.
Yes, we will, yes.
Still ahead, Kansas Shrine Bowl announces its 2023 rosters.
Yeah, 5 local athletes have earned a spot on this year's East squad. Those details coming up. And the Chiefs pick up a win in their final home game of the regular season. Highlights and post-game reaction next. The Kansas City Chiefs host Denver for their final home game of the regular season. Mahomes is 10-0 against the Broncos, looking to keep that streak alive today. Shaky start for the Chiefs after an interception. Special teams makes a critical mistake. Kadarius Toney fumbles, and Denver recovers at the 16-yard line. Then it's easy points for the Broncos. Russell Wilson goes 16 yards for the score. They take the lead 10-6. Chiefs with the ball back now. Patrick Mahomes dumps it off to Jerick McKinnon. He runs it in from 6 yards out. Kansas City back on top. Back and forth game. Chiefs trail once again here. Mahomes hits Blake Bell across the middle. He rolls into the end zone. 2017 Kansas City. Then Wilson gets picked off. It's L'Jarius Sneed with the interception. Chiefs will capitalize. McKinnon finds the end zone for the second time today. Chiefs a bit sloppy, but they hang on to win 27-24.
I felt like my feet got bad there in the second half, and then I missed the deep throws whenever they were there. And so when you're playing a defense like this, whenever they give you opportunities, you have to execute on them. And I didn't today. I took what was there and did a lot of good things as far as moving the chains in that first half, but in the second half, I just missed a lot of throws that I have to hit. When you win and you don't play your best ball, you don't feel like you play your best ball, that's always a good thing. But at the end of the day, we have to find a way to, for 4 quarters, play our best football whenever we get to the playoffs, and I feel like we still haven't done that yet.
The 50th Kansas Shrine Bowl will take place this summer in Hays, Kansas. Today, the rosters were announced. 5 local athletes have been selected to play for this year's East squad. Mario Mangini from Frontenac, Dagan Dean from Chanute, and Galena's Tyler Little have all made the 2023 roster. Also, Girard quarterback and Pitt State commit Luke Nigaman has earned a spot to play this summer. And finally, J.J. White will represent Pittsburgh on this year's team. The Neosho Wildcats are off to a great start this season. They're 8-2 overall. This past week, the Wildcats finished in 3rd place at their home tournament, the Neosho Holiday Classic. Here's head coach Zane Kolb's thoughts on where his team is at and what lies ahead.
Yeah, 8-2 is great. If you win 80% of your games, you're a pretty good team, but our schedule's going to get a lot tougher, and that starts next week. East Newton always gives us a battle, kind of a rivalry game. That's what we play Tuesday. Then we go to Kaminsky, and we got Francis Howell first round, and every single one of those games will be really, really tough. So we're just going to kind of see what we're made of and go from there, and we're excited because that'll kind of, then we start conference play, and that's what we'll need to be at our best at all times.
The Pitt State women return to conference action this week with 3 road games on their schedule. The Gorillas travel to Joplin to play Missouri Southern on Monday. Southern is currently ranked 9th in the country, and has only one loss through 13 games.
Gosh, they were really good last year, so I feel like they're still really good this year. And so I don't see a ton of difference other than just probably just maturity and comfort. And, you know, I see Ronnie just kind of sit there and he just watches. And so I feel like, you know, just a year under their belt is for some of them, and they haven't changed much, which, you know, that's scary for everybody because that just means that they're, you know, still really good.
That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
We take this time now to honor a local veteran, Gary Task, a native to Pineville, Missouri. Task served in the Navy from 1962 till 1970 in Vietnam, earning multiple medals. To Gary Task, we thank you, our four-state hero. Out with the old and in with the new. So just how bad was the old? A new survey conducted by OnePoll finding that only 1 in 3 Americans say they had a great year in 2022. But on the flip side, about 57% of Americans say they think 2023 will be a better year for them than 2022 was. Last year, 45% thought 2022 would be a better year for them than 2021. More than a third of Americans already have their New Year's resolutions planned out. 21% will make incremental changes, 18% will make major changes, and 28% will implement both types of change. Sounds good. Well, tell me what's going on with the weather.
Yeah, we're going to see some kind of phase out. By Tuesday morning, we'll see some lingering showers and then kind of phase out. And it looks like a pretty nice day on Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday. And then we'll see a little bit more precipitation on Saturday, but nothing compared to what we'll be seeing tomorrow.
Nice. I guess winter is coming back.
Yeah, it sure is.
Danny, tell me what's going on for sports.
Chiefs just a dominant history against the Broncos. They win their 15th straight game against Denver today.
Nice. That's all our time for now. Thanks for making us a part of your night.